Teaching has taught me as much about others as they have taught me, if that makes sense. I've taught everything outside of middle school, so I've taught elementary all the way up to university, and man, you learn everything you need to know in life teaching ankle biters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Leadership Jam Session. Today's guest is Brad Dalton, who is a motivational and inspirational speaker, an empowerment and success coach, lifelong educator, and is also the best-selling author of DNA of a Winner, 8 Steps to Building the Soul Print of a Winner. Brad, welcome to the Jam Session.
Man, am I excited to be with you.
Well, I usually ask, are you ready to jam? But I know you are ready to jam with me. So let's just dive right into it.
Let's do it, buddy.
Well, it's great having you on here. And we kind of connected over LinkedIn and loved a lot of the work you're doing. And we got to connect and started talking. Thought it'd be great to get you on the jam session. And I definitely want to start out. I mean, we're going to go in a few different places here because I love your background, love your story. But let's just kind of start off with your day job, because you kind of started the Brad Dalton group, right? You do a lot of motivational talks, you work with clients, coaching them. However, you kind of launched it only a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your day job, which Sure. I think is probably the hardest leadership position one can have, which is you're a teacher. Is that right?
Yep.
So maybe you can kind of share a little bit about your background there.
Well, thanks. I actually don't get asked about that a lot, so I appreciate that. Teaching has taught me as much about others as they have taught me, if that makes sense. I've taught everything outside of middle school, so I've taught elementary all the way up to university, and man, you learn everything you need to know in life teaching ankle biters. And you get an opportunity as a teacher 5 days a week. We coach, we do personal development, all that stuff. For our careers right now, but with teaching, you get to see it up close and personal right in front of you 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And man, it's so funny you asked me this, because I was just thinking this morning on the way into the office how thankful I am. Some of the things that you can't see it right now, but next to me on my wall is just littered with notes from students. Mm-hmm. And stuff like, no one's ever believed in me the way you do. And other funny little things. I have this student that relationships are king to me. And whether it be a 6-year-old or a 46-year-old. And some of them are funnier than others. I had this one student that we used to, in passing, make like little like faces at each other, like we were disgusted looking at the other. It was all in fair play. And I'm reading the note right now. When she graduated, she said, "Mr. Dalton, even though your face disgusts me, I feel thankful I've seen it through all these years. Thank you for being you." And it's just little things like that. So thankful that you asked me that. That is where it all started.
Yeah. So what do you enjoy the most about it?
Wow, it's the relationships. It's really the same across the board, whether it be teaching a 16-year-old kiddo or a retired citizen of wherever. I love the relationships. Mm-hmm. And just seeing people smile, getting to know people, letting people know that they have more in the tank, seeing them grow, whether it's teaching an elementary kid from August to the end of May, or a semester class at the university level, seeing them from point A to wherever they get to. And it's different for everyone. Mm-hmm. And man, it is so rewarding. It's so rewarding. And then, man, to have them come back when they've graduated or when they're having massive success 5-10 years down the road, and they want to have coffee with you, and they want to thank you or tell you all about the cool stuff they got going on. Yeah. That is the juice. Yeah. Every time I think that I'm maybe plateauing, or maybe, I'm not feeling, because we don't all roll out of bed a 10 every day. Yeah. But man, every time I'm not a 10, I run into something like that, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
And it reminds me why I do what I do. I could triple my income this year if I just got out of teaching.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I
Isn't that amazing?
haven't to this point because I just love kids so much. It's been a real struggle. My people tell me, man, if you cleared up 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., think of how much you could do.
Yeah.
And I've struggled with that.
And I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, it's just, I could tell just the passion in you. And you're in it for them.
Hmm.
And, I think you kind of embody what, what great teachers look like. And, and I don't think, you know, teachers get paid enough.
Yeah,
Right. So, I mean, there's that end of it too.
right.
Part of the reason why I was asking you this is because I think it's important. There are parallels in terms of just leading in general. Great leaders are great teachers,
Yep.
right? They're the ones that actually help um, their employees kind of grow. And we
Right.
have, we as leaders make a huge impact on our employees, but sometimes we don't view it that way, right?
Right.
And we're missing out. Let me ask you, what are some of the challenges?
And
Mhm.
most servant leadership positions and professions right now are really fried. Most
Mhm.
servant leaders right now do not feel appreciated.
Yeah.
They don't feel appreciated. They don't feel that their work is being noticed, and they're really not in it for them. But at the same time, everybody needs to have people around them they need to have people understand that they need to feel grateful. They need
Uh-huh.
people around them that are grateful for what they're doing with as much as they're giving. And you did hit the nail on the head. They don't get paid enough. I will be honest with you. I haven't looked at five pay stubs in 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So my measurement is impact.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think most great teachers are that way, but they don't feel appreciated. They they only hear from parents when parents are pissed. That's about it.
Right.
And so they don't hear a lot of the good stuff. What the juice for them, the fuel for them is the growth and impact that they get to see 5 days a week. But that's one of the big challenges. The expectations for teachers keep going up.
Mm.
I mean, I can't speak for, I mean, I talk to educators coast to coast and globally, and it seems like all the expectations, the tests, the requirements, all this stuff keeps going up, and your pay stays the same. So I think feeling some sort of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you right now, with COVID and everything, I've had this conversation a lot of times with leaders and with people to my left, right, front, and back that I work with. Things have changed, but like right now, the stuff that I do, the curriculum hasn't changed,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole thing is taking its toll on people between the ears.
Yeah.
Like people are struggling. People are struggling. There's going to be a mass exodus of teachers
Sure. Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Just they're fried. So what I always say, Rob, is man, there's never been a more important time to invest in us
Mm-hmm.
because we are fried. It's not because of the curriculum. For the most part, everyone's back in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Really, things aren't that much different anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But between the years, things have changed dramatically.
Yeah.
We've got to invest in us.
Well, which is why what you bring to the table is so important. I mean, this is kind of, the energy, the areas that you focus on is so critical. And so let's talk about that a little bit. And I appreciate you sharing just some of your background on teaching, which again, I think there's a lot of correlations made to, again, great leaders are great teachers.
Yep.
Um, and it's interesting, a lot of people ask me, why did I leave the corporate world after, 20 plus years? And I love what I do. I love, teaching the future leaders of tomorrow. You get to see the impact. I mean, I loved leading teams over the years too, but,
Sure.
um, but I don't think you guys get paid enough for sure. So, and I appreciate all the hard work you and the rest of the teachers do for us. So let's talk about how, you kind of, transitioned into this other space,
Uh-huh.
right? So let's just talk about how did you get put on that path? Because you're highly successful in doing it. You can easily leave, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
and probably make 3 times as much, even more than that.
Right.
And you get a lot, you're on demand, you get a lot of requests. So let's talk about, how did you make that transition? How did you get into this?
Oh, well, I used to say it was luck, but it really isn't luck. I don't believe in luck really anymore. I think the fact that I've always been a servant leader. I've
Yeah.
always been positive. I've always been just someone that likes to fill other people's cups up.
Mhm.
And like as you've alluded to multiple times, I think the best coaches are great teachers.
Mhm.
That's what they are. When COVID hit, I was trying to think of ways to be innovative and still stay in touch because at the time I had a little side hustle mindset business going, which really wasn't my thing.
Mhm.
Teaching was my thing, and I had tons of foreign exchange students from Argentina to Taiwan to all over the map.
Yeah.
And I was like, how am I gonna? And they're all getting shipped back. They're all getting shipped back home. It's like, how am I gonna still have an impact on these guys? How am I still going to keep giving them the lessons? The same stuff I wrote about in my book and
Mhm.
I speak with adults with is the same stuff I teach them. And how am I going to do that? So I decided to start a podcast called the Best Self Podcast. And I was fortunate. No marketing or anything like that. Just 5 months later, it's in 50 plus countries. And I really, I hadn't planned on that. It just happened. And I loved it. I mean, the fact that I could talk to someone in some town in Spain that I've never heard of, and I'm impacting them. This is fantastic. So, and I loved it. So then I started amping up that a little bit. And then that November, I get a call from a former publisher with Tony Robbins,
Yeah.
and they say they want to write a book. I'm like, how do I, how do I turn that down? So
Right.
like, okay, where do I sign? So we rocked that thing, turns into a bestseller the next spring. And man, that just kind of, as you alluded to, things just started amping up and got to the point where, I mean, I've actually had to be really selectively aggressive with
Yeah.
the opportunities I choose now because my bandwidth got really stretched really thin. But I will tell you, Rob, and it's people like you, me, people with this mindset. Everything happened. I think it happened because I've been intentional about being the best version of me and
Mm.
creating the best version of others. That's why this all happened for me. It wasn't because I just took a stab in the dark or I treated my life like a hobby or I shot from the hip. It was because I was into people and I was into relationships and I was into growth and that's how those were the catalysts.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, again, I think your story is fantastic. You kind of just walked into it, right?
Hmm.
And because of that, people took notice and were able to kind of tap into you, and here you are today. Love your book too, and maybe I can just ask a few questions on the book itself.
Sure.
So you talk about, you have the 8 steps,
Uh-huh.
right? And the first chapter that you kind of talk about is attitude, and stay out of the weeds, feed the
Hmm.
peas. So
Uh-huh.
maybe you can share a little bit of what that means.
Sure. Well, if we all have a garden, if you know anything about gardening, which I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in the gardening field, but I know that if you have a garden, you obviously don't want any weeds. And weeds for us would be negativity.
Mm.
And you've got these flowers, you got whatever it is in your garden, and as you grow weeds into that garden, they're going to start choking out all the good stuff.
Mhm.
And this is just a Cliff Note version, choking out all the stuff that you really care about, your family, your community, your circle, the people you haven't even met yet, that you're going to choke them all out, some before you even meet them, because they're not going to want to have anything to do with you
Mm.
because of all the negativity.
Mhm.
Winners gravitate to winners. Negative people gravitate to negative people. You want people gravitating to you that's going to make you a better version of you.
Mhm.
And so we want to get rid of the weeds and we want to feed our life with the peas, the positives. Man, positive people, they don't even, it could be just your smile.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I was talking about this the other day. Just look at my LinkedIn posts or anything I post on social. I look at my analytics, and the ones where I'm on there smiling with someone else or myself get 10 times more views than than others.
Hmm.
People love the smile is a universal language. So it doesn't even have to be you're a person out there that's afraid of speaking in front of crowds. Just be you.
Yeah.
Just flash those pearly whites, baby.
I think that's awesome. And it's so true. People do gravitate towards like-minded people.
Hmm.
And, do you kind of want to get just dragged down in some of the negativity, or because it is a choice, is it not?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one of the statements you make, um, starting small and targeting the best versions of themselves, no
Hmm.
one creates success alone, which I think
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. One of the chapters you talk about, one of the steps is avoiding the prison sentence. So maybe you can explain that one, because I found that fascinating as well.
Sure. Well, again, it's the mindset, and you want to avoid, and it comes back to negativity and false beliefs and
Yeah.
limiting beliefs. And you talk about it being a choice. I mean, success is a choice. It's not chance. Success is a choice. It's not chance. And so we have the opportunity every day we roll out of bed and our toes touch the floor to feel some gratitude, not underestimate how incredible today could be. Today could be incredible. I mean, we overestimate yesterday, we underestimate the incredible stuff that could happen today. And
Mhm.
so, and the thing about it is, the death sentence is you are on a fast track to mediocrity if you're hung up on what happened 15 seconds ago,
Hmm.
15 days ago, 15 minutes ago, whatever. You are on fast track to mediocrity because that's already happened. You can't even control that anymore. What you
Hmm.
can do is you can control the seconds, the minutes, the days, the years ahead, and you can control your success road. It is backwards thinking to be caught up in what happened yesterday. We want to be forward minded. We
Hmm.
want to be forward minded. We want, man, this week is going to be so incredible. We
Yeah.
have that opportunity to have that mindset. We can do that. There's so many stories. Our book is never finished, Rob. Our book is never finished. It's always being written. You talk to the best. You even talk to people that are, say, a recovering alcoholic.
Hmm.
They never say they've recovered. If they've truly got the right mindset, they're always recovering.
Hmm.
You talk, we're always becoming.
Yeah.
The best is yet to come for you, me, and we, man. Greater is coming.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. It's we're constantly reinventing ourselves. I think there's like research out there that talks about how, the self-talk, we all talk
Mhm.
to ourselves,
Sure.
which is reassuring because I thought I had voices in my head, but we all do, right?
Yeah.
And that 75% of that self-talk is negative,
Yep.
right? And
You
so
bet.
it's, yeah, but we're constantly being stimulated by negative things as well. And it's hard to kind of just break through that and keep that positive momentum. It's kind of like reframing the way you
Hmm.
think. Is that fair?
Totally fair. Yeah. I will say this too, Rob. I should have said this too. Is a lot of people don't get caught up. They don't set boundaries.
Mm,
They get spread their bandwidth as a leader of a ton of people gets spread really thin. So they're not organized enough with their thoughts and their priorities. And a lot of them have great intentions. It's not that they aren't trying to please.
yeah.
It's that they're trying to please too many in too many different ways, and they're spread super thin. So they need to draw boundaries. And then I want to just include one more is the success road. A lot of people lose track of the process. They overestimate events and underestimate the process. And there's going to be negative vibrations.
Uh-huh.
There's going to be positive ones too, but there's going to be stuff. And if all you do is focus on the bad stuff, the negative vibrations, that's going to be a crummy life. And when your
Yeah.
life starts getting crummy, you start becoming crummy at what you do at work.
Mm.
You're just waking up in a negative attitude, a negative mindset. So those would be two more.
So what
Sorry,
you
I
no, no,
had
no,
to
that's
get off
great. So
there.
what you're saying is just to dive a little deeper into you call it
Success road, yeah,
success road, right? So that there's going to be, so if I understand it, there's going to be challenges along the way, but that's
absolutely.
part of the process. But
Mhm.
we may not, or we may focus too much on the mistakes or the negativity versus the process in itself, the journey to get there.
Yep. Yeah. If you understand that success isn't a destination, that success is the road,
Yeah.
you're not gonna you're still gonna visit Pity City here and there. You're still gonna have a little victimitis in there somewhere, but you're not gonna stay there because you understood that this was part of the process. You understand that there's gonna be cool stuff. I would say that for people that want to stay on the success road, I'm not a big goal guy. I'm a big growth guy. I'm not saying goals aren't important,
Yeah.
but instead of setting, these are, instead of being goal conscious, being growth conscious. Just,
Totally agree.
just 0.01% better a day. That's a hell of a day.
Love what you're doing. I hope that this coming on jam session will help you reach your goal of 5 million along the way.
Yes.
And definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing a lot of your great insights and perspectives. I think, for the leaders out there, you can definitely walk away with some important key takeaways that Brad is talking about, and definitely get his book. It's great. We'll put it in show notes as well, the link to his book. But Brad, love talking to you. Great getting to know you. Appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate it, buddy. You are doing so many good things. Ever since we've really connected, you're a guy that immediately I gravitated to. So I appreciate everything you're doing.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
You bet, man.